to you live from Shadyside High. Only 2 days to go until senior prom, and anything could happen.
Welcome back. What if prom night turns into a nightmare? In Fear Street Prom Queen, the glitz and glamour of 1988 Shadyside High's prom are overshadowed by a series of brutal murders targeting prom queen candidates. Lori Granger's quest for prom queen leads to a deadly revelation. Let's delve into this chilling tale where ambition meets a deadly fate. Set in the neon-lit heart of 1988, Fear Street Prom Queen shows chilling scenes, bloody images that make it clear something is terribly wrong at Shadyside High. Right from the start, we know something is seriously wrong. Behind all the glitter and pep rallies, danger is lurking in the halls of Shadyside. Our main character is Lori Granger, a 17-year-old girl who mostly keeps to herself. She's smart, quiet, and doesn't really fit in with the popular crowd. But Lori carries something even heavier than loneliness: the pain of her father's mysterious death years ago. People still whisper that it had something to do with witchcraft. Ever since, Lori's felt like an outsider in her own town. But now, Lori wants to take her life back. She makes a bold move. She decides to run for prom queen, something no one like her has ever done before. Normally, prom queen is reserved for the school's elite, rich, popular girls who seem to have it all. Right away, Lori's decision makes her a target, especially for Tiffany Falconer, the school's reigning queen bee. Tiffany is everything Lori isn't: rich and adored by everyone. She leads a powerful group called the Wolf Pack, a clique of mean girls and jocks who basically rule the school. Her prom campaign is flashy and over the top, with posters, cheerleaders, and pep rallies. Lori's campaign is the opposite: small, honest, and heartfelt. She's supported by Gina, her loyal best friend. Then, everything changes. One by one, the other prom queen candidates start dying in horrific ways. Linda and her boyfriend look for a private spot. Linda finds her campaign flyers torn up and chases the culprit. She faces the masked killer who slashes her belly. Her boyfriend grabs a box cutter to fight back, but makes a bad move by attacking from behind. The killer cuts off his hands with a paper cutter. He tries to run but can't open the door without hands. The killer then smashes his head against the door. Meanwhile, Tyler flirts with Lori again, interrupted when they find a fake head in the punch bowl, a prank by Megan. Lori warns Megan that teasing other candidates might cost her votes. Megan asks why Lori cares so much about winning. Lori says she hopes to change the town. Debbie complains to her boyfriend, Judd, about Tiffany hanging out more with Melissa than her. Judd tells Debbie to come to the school basement for a surprise. There, Judd gives Debbie a necklace that belonged to his mom. Suddenly, the killer appears and saws Judd's face, leaving Debbie shocked. Debbie tries to fight back, but ends up trapped by the masked man. Sadly, she just stays trapped. Behind Debbie is an open electrical panel, but the killer just scares Debbie, who jumps back and ends up getting electrocuted. The power in the school goes crazy, causing the lights to flicker. Megan hears Debbie's screams, but soon gets distracted. Then she notices the lights going out and that the missing students and their boyfriends aren't around. While looking for them, Megan meets Christy's boyfriend, who says Christy has been missing for 48 hours. He told the police, but they didn't care to check. Meanwhile, Lori gets flowers from a secret sender with a card that says, "Hope you don't choke." On her way back, Lori meets Tiffany, who wants her to stop trying to be prom queen. Melissa joins and hears Lori's story. Tiffany says Rose got pregnant by Lori's rich dad. When he found out, he rejected Rose and the baby. Angry, Rose chased him to the river and killed him. Melissa sees that this upsets Lori and asks Tiffany to stop bothering her. Melissa then surprisingly lends Lori makeup to help her look better. Losing control, Tiffany throws a drink on Melissa's dress, forcing Melissa to dry it in the bathroom. Tiffany then challenges Lori to a dance battle. Honestly, Tiffany's dance moves are terrible. The power keeps flickering. The director sends a creepy janitor to check the basement's electrical panel. Meanwhile, Melissa is alone in the bathroom when the killer shows up. Strange thing, Melissa just stares at him instead of grabbing something to defend herself. There's a big mirror behind her. She could have broken to use the glass as a weapon, but she chooses to dodge attacks and barely makes it to the door. Bad news, there are two killers. The second one blocks Melissa from escaping. She doesn't last long and gets stabbed. Tyler gets scolded by Tiffany for staring at Lori all the time. She's so annoying he breaks up with her. He decides to support Lori instead. A random student tells Megan that his friends disappeared. Megan sees the killer and tries to warn Lori, but Lori just wants to flirt with Tyler and tells Megan to stop ruining her night, saying she's just like the other girls and will never get what she wants.
I can't hold your hand forever, Megan.
Lori and Tyler go somewhere private to kiss, but it doesn't happen.
Stolen glances.
One killer stabs Tyler's head. Lori runs fast like an Olympic runner and bumps into Megan in the basement. They find the killed students and the janitor, who was hit in the head with a hammer. They could have pulled the hammer out to defend themselves, but instead, they hide. Then they see the killer locks the basement door. The second killer appears and chases them. They hide in a room, but the door won't hold long against the axe. Megan holds a kerosene lamp, which is very flammable. She could have thrown it at the killer to burn him, but instead, they break a window to escape. Megan cuts her hand on glass, but keeps running with Lori to warn the others. Back at school, the principal announces Lori as prom queen.
Lori Granger!
Lori goes on stage and tells everyone to run, but the principal wants to finish the crowning. One killer enters the hall and kills two of Tiffany's fans with an axe.
Stay back! Okay, easy now.
Then he goes on stage and cuts off the principal's arm. The killer tries to attack Lori, but Megan jumps at him, letting Lori blind him in one eye with the crown.
Hey, fuck face!
Other students jump the killer and hold him down. One killer's identity is revealed. It's Dan, a teacher and Tiffany's dad. He says he killed the other candidates so Tiffany could win prom queen, which was what Tiffany and her mom wanted most. I wonder why he didn't just cheat the voting instead of killing people. Lori says goodbye to Megan, who goes to the hospital but offers to ride with Tiffany, which was a bad idea since Tiffany bullied Lori her whole life. Lori stays at Tiffany's house until she sleeps. Then Nancy arrives after giving a police statement. It doesn't take long to find out Nancy is the second killer. Lori wakes Tiffany, who is scared and hides with her in a closet. Tiffany says it must have been cool to see all the killing, making Lori realize Tiffany is as crazy as her parents. Tiffany tries to stab Lori, but Lori runs away. When leaving the house, Nancy stabs Lori in the back and says she killed Lori's dad because he cheated on her with Rose. Nancy wanted revenge. Tiffany tries to finish Lori. Lori kicks Tiffany down the stairs. Tiffany falls on a statue and probably won't return in the next movie. Using Nancy's distraction, Lori grabs a trophy and hits Nancy. Nancy bleeds badly and asks for help, but Lori tells her to die and leaves. There's a mid-credit scene where Nancy's blood forms the same evil symbol from the original trilogy's curse book. Maybe she made a deal for revenge or was part of a ritual. I don't really get it. Unpacking the dark themes of ambition, parental pressure, and trauma. Fear Street Prom Queen isn't just a nostalgic slasher. It's a mirror held up to our darkest societal pressures. The corrosive power of popularity. The film critiques how far people will go to be admired. Prom Queen is more than a crown. It becomes a symbol of social dominance. In real life, this mirrors how status, especially during adolescence, can drive people to manipulation, exclusion, or worse. Parental pressure and projection. Tiffany's parents don't just support her. They orchestrate murder. It's a horrifying metaphor for overbearing parenting, where children are forced to live out their parents' unfulfilled ambitions. Think of real-world parallels. Elite sports, pageants, or Ivy League admissions, where parents cross moral lines for their kids' success. Mental health, trauma, and agency. Laurie's arc embodies resilience. She processes trauma, distrust, and judgment, not with vengeance, but with clarity and strength. Her story reminds us of the importance of mental health support, especially for young people navigating identity, loss, and social expectation. In essence, the film taps into anxieties that still resonate today about performance, parental control, and the pressure to fit an ideal. It's a bloody cautionary tale rooted in real emotion. A slasher film that mirrors real-world societal issues. Fear Street Prom Queen cleverly blends the thrills of a retro slasher with the psychological realism of a teen drama. It doesn't just scare, it critiques. It reminds us how dangerous it can be to chase ideals, ignore mental health, or impose control under the guise of love. While the film leans into campy genre tropes, it also delivers a biting commentary on American high school culture and the legacy of familial dysfunction. On the flick verdict scale, I would say, Fear Street Prom Queen is entertaining, suspenseful, and thematically rich, but not flawless. Some plot elements are rushed, and the supernatural connection feels tacked on. Still, it's a must-watch for fans of horror with a conscience. It may not be groundbreaking, but it lingers, just like the best urban legends. What did Fear Street Prom Queen mean to you? Did Fear Street Prom Queen give you chills? Or hit a little too close to your own high school days? Drop a comment. Who would you trust in a fight for the crown? And if you want more slasher stories with something deeper underneath the blood, subscribe, like, and join us next time. Because here at Flick Favorites, we don't just recap horror. We uncover what it's really trying to say, one scream at a time.